last week we kind of went over project ideas, what's a good fit for ARC, and we went over kind of their strategic goals and things they look for. This platform here is just very informal. It's open to questions, discussion. You can ask questions of us. You can ask questions of others on the call. Sometimes the best way we learn is by just talking with each other and posing situations and seeing how someone else has handled it in the past. So this week, I would like to focus more on our letter of intent and our pre-application packages. Our letter of intent is due March 1st to our office. So if you have a project that you're thinking about submitting for ARC, the letter of intent is just one-page summary, super easy. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to kind of just have a rundown of our new webpage for ARC and kind of where you can find things. So if you type in ovrdc.org into your search bar, this is going to be the main page that you come to. Is everybody seeing our front page? I want to make sure I have it on the right screen. Okay. So from here, you want to go to our services drop down, and then you'll go to our economic and community development, and ARC is going to be the second on the list here. Our first screen of our ARC webpage, this is what we're calling kind of our idea stage. This is when you have projects, you're not sure if ARC is a right fit. This kind of has a lot of information that you can look over and read through and see if ARC could possibly fit. And honestly, ARC is a very flexible program. So most of the time, if you have a project, we can find where it fits. On this page, you have a little bit about the Appalachian Regional Commission, what it is, how it was started, where it began. Each of these red shaded underlined words are links that go out to other web pages with more information. You have the strategic plan here, which is the federal strategic plan. The state plan for Ohio will be here. And then learn more about Appalachia. I'm pretty sure it goes to arc.gov. ARC.gov is an amazing resource. If you haven't checked it out, I'd definitely go to their webpage and read through their webpage. We also, through ARC, we have federal and state grants. So this is more information about the Governor's Office of Appalachia and the ARC state grants. A little bit about LDDs, which is what OVRDC is. There are 4 LDDs in Ohio. You have OVRDC, you have Buckeye Hills Regional Council, Omega, and Eastgate, and those are all the areas that they cover there on that map. So even if you realize that you're not in our area, the programs run along the same lines. There are different due dates, but we can definitely get you in touch with your right LDD office. Okay, so when you get to the bottom of this first page here, you have our gigantic ready to apply button. So you're going to want to click that. This page here, we're calling our application stage. This is when you've looked it over and you're like, yes, my project is eligible for ARC. It is something I want to pursue. This page gives you everything you need to apply. So eligible applicants, who's eligible? Political subdivisions, county, city, villages, educational institutions, public institutions, nonprofit organizations, Indian tribes are your eligible entities to apply. There's some things to consider early when you plan to apply. Competitive procurement is huge. If you plan on using an engineering architectural firm for your project, please competitively procure those entities. Send out a request for proposals, a request for qualifications. And normally the process for that is just run your ad in a newspaper consecutively for like 2 weeks, like once a week, and then receive proposals and then choose from those proposals. That's very important because once you reach especially the federal grant award, if you did not competitively procure your engineer, or later on you'll have to do the same thing with your contractors for a construction project. But if you did not procure those competitively, the grant will not allow you to place that in your budget and to reimburse out of the grant. So you will have to pay those people out of pocket. So it's very important upfront to procure your engineer, architect, whoever you're needing for your construction project, get that done up front so you can show that they were competitively selected and you're good to go. So
Kerri,
right here, yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interject, but I have
no,
a
you're
quick
fine.
question on that. So, competitively procuring the engineer, if you were working with a procured planner that's an architectural engineering firm under the Appalachian Community Grant Program, does that meet that guideline or that requirement for competitively procuring through the ARC program?
It does not for our area development just because they were specifically procured for the ACGP program. So you would have to do the procurement process for AR or for area development.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mhm. And we do have, small villages or nonprofits that whenever they do their procurement process, instead of sending something out for a project specific reason, they send out a blanket. They want an engineer that could be on retainer for any type of project that they have for like a certain amount of time. So, if you say, sewer, water, sidewalks, whatever you could possibly have come up within a certain period of time, you could send that out, and say, we're looking for an engineering firm that, for the next 5 years can be on retainer for when we need any sort of project such as, blah, blah, blah. And so that could cover you for a while there if you can find an engineering firm that would be willing to do something like that. Unique entity identifier. This is the number that has replaced the DUNS number when it comes to grant submission. If you do not have a UEID, I would go ahead and apply for one and get that in place. Sometimes it can take a little while. So if you go here to this link for sam.gov, you click that link, it's the first thing that pops up. So you can just go through those steps to get your unique entity identifier. Now I gotta figure out how to get. Sorry, the bar is over everything here. Okay, now we'll go back. Okay. And then something else that's fairly new is the Buy America guidelines. That was a law that was put into place that any construction equipment, supplies that you're looking to buy with your grant, you have to give priority to American-made products. There are waivers for certain different scenarios. If the price is just astronomically higher than where you can get it somewhere else, or if there's no availability of that certain thing that you're looking for that's made in America, then you can get a waiver for that. But I would definitely read over the Buy America guidelines. It does affect your budget. So those are just things to take into consideration at the beginning here to make sure we get some housekeeping things taken care of and we don't run into problems later on. So towards the middle of the page here, this is where you'll find all the documents that you need to submit to our office for ARC. The approach that we take in Ohio with ARC is LDDs such as OVRDC. We have developed the application, we've developed the scoring rubric. We take in the pre-applications, we look them over, we score them in-house here at OVRDC. And then what we do around the end of June, beginning of July, is we take our list of projects that we have scored and we take it back to the county where the project was submitted. So say, Gallia County, if they submit 5 projects, we'll take those 5 projects to the Gallia County caucus members. And then at Gallia County, they will prioritize those projects, what they feel is most important, and they'll prioritize the first place to the third place. And that adds extra bonus points to those projects to move them up farther in the list because that's their priority. So we do that in each of our. We'll bring the projects back. We'll show you the score where they are currently, and we'll let you as a county decide, what you feel the projects are important, what ranking. So the letter of intent, like I said, is due March 1st. You can find it here. It's linked here in the paragraph. It's also linked below our timeline there. I'll go ahead and this is our letter of intent. Super easy. You have the project title, contact information, and on contact information, it can be the grantee's contact information, but also if you have a consultant that's actually filling your application out and sending it in to us, add their contact information as well, because a lot of times if we have questions, we'll send it to whoever's listed here as the contact information. If you're relying on a consultant, sometimes it doesn't get sent to them. It just gets sent to you as a grantee. So make sure anybody that needs communication about the application is listed here. You have the county served, your ARC goal, that's federal ARC goal and the action objective that your project fits. Then you have your state strategy that your project fits. You can find the links to both of those also on the webpage. Your purpose. What's the purpose of this project? Like, what do you want this to accomplish? Just one sentence, that as much information as you can in that one sentence. Your expected funding request. This is the amount that you expect to ask from ARC. So take into account your total project cost and your county's match rate whenever you are figuring out your ask of ARC. And then project description, just a couple paragraphs, detailed about what the project is going to be. And then that just gets emailed back to us, and we'll look over it. And we can give you some pointers, or maybe we'll have some other questions about your project. And the point of the letter of intent is so that we know what projects we can expect to receive in the pre-application stage, and also to help us try to help you make your pre-application stronger in the overall package. The ARC Area Development Program is competitive with our 12 counties, so all of the projects submitted are all competing against each other. So the more information that you can put on your pre-app, the more points that you can get, the better off you are, and we can help you with that. So after the letter of intent, and once we look it over, and we'll tell you, you're good to go, or here's some suggestions for your pre-app, you can start on your pre-applications. Those are also available now. You can start on those, whenever you feel confident. We have the construction pre-application with the booklet. Here we have the non-construction pre-application right underneath it. It has step-by-step guidance booklets at the beginning to help you through it. But of course, Eli or I, we're here to help whenever you need it. Those are due this year by May 24th to our office. We also have the scoring rubrics linked here, so you can look at those and see kind of, maybe where you can make your project stronger, what line items maybe you need help with to try to get more points. And then we have the list of projects that we funded last year that are linked here. And I think it has their scores too, and then going to our timeline, May 24th, we receive your pre-apps, we rank them. Then in June and July, we hold the second round county meetings. And then August 29th is when our executive board will approve the final list of projects from the highest ranked to the lowest ranked. Once those are approved, we start at the top. We go with projects that, have their match committed. They're ready to submit a full application. And we start soliciting for full applications starting September 1st through the end of December. Some more information for your pre-application. I know this is a lot, but again, ask us, come back to the website here. Anything we can do to help you out. We try not to make it intimidating as much as we can. There's a lot of help though, a lot of information. So if you have a construction project and your project is going federal, you will need to identify a basic agency. There are multiple basic agencies. Most of the time, if any of these listed here have money in your project already, then they will act as your basic agency. If you do not have anyone else in your project, like maybe it's just ARC and your local match that's in your construction project, the state of Ohio can now act as basic agency. They have contracted with a group out of Tennessee called Appalachian Management Systems. And they act as basic agency for those types of projects where EPA or USDA may not have funds in, so they need a basic agency. That's really helped a lot of our construction projects. I had a question through email yesterday about going over match requirements for ARC grants. So here is a good visual for ARC match requirements, and this is current. So distressed counties, you have a maximum ARC share of 80%, and your match would be 20%. And we only have one county at the moment that's distressed, and that's Scioto. At-risk counties, the maximum ARC share is 70%, and your match required would be 30%. So in that area, you have Adams, Gallia, Highland, Jackson, Lawrence, Pike, and Vinton. Transitional counties, we have two, that's a 50-50 share, and that's Brown and Ross. And then we have one competitive in Claremont County where ARC share is 30% and the match is 70%. There are different types of match, first and foremost, people go to cash. Cash is not always super readily available to a lot of entities. So cash is great. It's probably, the easiest to show, but it's not always the most available. So you can also use in-kind or the value of non-cash donations. Real property, if you purchase the property that your project is going to be performed on, you can use that cost of purchasing that. If it was donated, the purchase or not purchase, what the purchase price would have been, you can use that amount. Equipment that you've already bought for the project, things like that could be used as match. A very, very good source is the Rural Community Assistance Partnership, or RCAP. RCAP has many services that they can provide. They can write grants for you, mostly water and wastewater, those types of projects is what they deal with. But they can write the grant for you. They can find your funding packages. So they can put together a whole big picture for you at RCAP. ARC does match with other grant sources. They match with, the Ohio Water Development Authority. They match with EPA. They match with CDBG, a whole range of different programs that ARC can match with. We have a little video here listed too about match. It does say power. Power is a separate program from what we're talking about here, but the budget and the match are the same lines. So this video is very helpful. And we have our guide to ARC project performance measures. I think this has been something that's, been difficult in some areas to understand their outputs and outcomes and what they're really looking for when they ask for performance measures with ARC. So they have a new site that is a total guide to performance measures. It lists every performance measures to match any type of project that you could have. It defines that performance measure, and it gives you ways that you could track it, ways you may be tracking it already, and ways you can report it. It's an awesome resource. I think that's all that we have here as far as letter of intent and pre-application guidance.
Hey, Kerri.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the match? So you said something about donations. So for our playground equipment, the city of Montgomery donated all their old playground equipment to us for $1. So are you saying that I could use the equivalent actual value of that for a match? Or did I misunderstand you?
Let me.
Because I thought you said
donation or use of equipment is eligible. Yes.
So if we got that for $1 and I looked up the cost of all that equipment, I could use that for a match.
Yes.
Oh, okay. And that would be the same for a building too?
Yes. Yeah, if you were donated the building. Yeah.
And so what would be the best source to find? I mean, would you use any, like if I came up with an amount, like, okay, the building's worth this much or the donated playground equipment's worth this much. Is there a certain source where you have to get that information, or whatever source we find you would use?
I'll pose that question to GOA. We haven't done a lot of the donating as match. I know we've done it once, and it was like the donation of a historical museum property that they then were going to renovate with ARC dollars. That was directly ran through the state. But I can pose that question to them and then I can send you an email on what they say.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, no problem. I always say, you know, if I don't know, I'll figure it out.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mhm. All right, we'll just open it up for any questions, any discussion anybody might have.
Hey,
Hi,
Kerri,
Kerri.
oh,
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
go ahead, Ginger. I'll wait.
I was just gonna ask, I was not able to attend the meeting last week. Is there a place that I could access a recording for that?
Yeah, there is. We have it on our webpage and I can put the link in the chat really quickly.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Kerri, this is Carlton Cave. I'm trying to wrap my head around, I think, the idea of the building being used as in kind. Now, here's my project. I'm looking at trying to do a parking lot around the paving, the actual paving and the making of a parking lot around the building. All right. Could be quite a bit of money. So what I'm hearing you say is that to match that 20%, we could use the building as a credit or in kind. How does that work? Or am I correct in my thinking?
I'm not sure on a parking lot paving project. I know for a renovation project, they do, because you're going inside the building and you're actually
Yeah.
upgrading the building itself. As far as doing something outside of the building, I'm not sure if they would count, you know, the building in that situation. Is there more to it than just the parking lot, the project itself?
Well, we've pretty much completed
Okay,
the other projects. We're coming up on completion.
okay.
And so this would be the last thing that, in a sense, we have probably to do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do some research on that and then I'll
Thank you.
get back with you. Mhm.
Thank you.
Hey, Kerri, this is Dylan from Lawrence County. Are you guys working from OVRDC's perspective on any of the other ARC funded programs for our region, or something that we could, if you guys have something that you're leading that we could team up in? I know everybody's tied up with ACGP, but I just didn't know if, from your guys' perspective, if there was something that we could team up on with, whether it be Rise or Aspire, Power, et cetera, et cetera. Just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, mostly we deal with the area development part of ARC. We do have contacts though for the other programs. We are currently being flooded with letter of intents from Inspire. Jay Bennett with the GOA's office, he's on contract with them. He's kind of leading the charge on the Inspire projects, and he's actually in the process right now of putting some people together on Inspire projects. So if you have anything that way, I can send his contact information to you. Power is kind of the same way. GOA contracts with Jay Bennett and Brenda Haas to kind of vet those programs for Power. I'm not sure on Aspire. That's not one that we've had much contact with, but Power and Inspire for sure.
Gotcha. Thanks so
Arise,
much.
sorry. I'm Arise, not Aspire.
Yeah, they got all kinds of names for them.
Yeah.
Hey, Kerri,
Yeah.
this is Linda again from Higginsport.
Mhm.
Are you able to show me that page you emailed me yesterday? When we were kind of talking about the match and the distressed counties, and
Yeah,
because my
sure.
question was, even if you're a distressed county, I mean, I feel like our village, I mean, we're transitional county, but I feel like our village is distressed, but according to the source you showed me yesterday, it is not. So if you could go through that, that would be helpful
Sure.
for me.
Yeah. Okay. This is arc.gov, and the link, I believe you can probably see the link, but my Zoom box is over it.
Mhm.
Match requirements for grants. When you go to this page, there's an interactive map here right in the middle that has all of the Appalachian counties, but you can zoom in and go to Ohio. So you see all of our counties in different colors, and then you also see these yellow spots. So what that is you click on a county, Highland County overall is an at-risk county, so it's a 70-30 match, but it has one distressed area. And how they define distressed areas, or how they define the county designation as a whole, is that the links located here in blue. So their data sources and their methodology for county economic status and distressed areas. Those are both links. You can click on either one to find out how they came up with their designations. So the stressed area in Highland County is going to be this little yellow piece here. So it's census tract 9550.02. And so that affects the match rate. And I'm not 100% sure how it affects the match rate. That's something else that I'm going to have to talk to with GOA about how we figure match rate in a distressed area versus, distressed county. So how they kind of average that. But there are distressed areas within counties that are not necessarily considered distressed. And it does have an effect on match rate. So you have the county and you have distressed area.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's very helpful.
Mhm.
And actually the Governors National Association meets this week. And that is when they go over the county designations for ARC, and they actually vote on if counties stay the same or if they move categories. So that's happening tomorrow through the 24th in DC. And I don't think, though, that those designations come out until, I believe John said, around June, July is when they come out with the results from this meeting. But yeah, if you're wondering about your match, you can go here. This pretty much is updated, in real time. And you just click on your county. And you can get the information here in this little box that you need for match rates or for distressed areas. And as soon as I figure out from GOA, how we figure that distressed areas, I'll send that out to all the participants of this meeting.
Thank you.
No problem. This is only
Kerri,
my second year with this program, so.
You would never know that.
Oh, thank you.
It's been helpful. I have a question on the Ohio state strategy for the state strategy section on the LOI. So I went on the website and looked at it, and there is a 2022 annual strategy statement. And then there's a 2020 to 2023 program development plan. Which should we pull from for the state strategy?
It is the 2020 through 2023 development plan.
Okay, perfect.
I
Thank you.
asked the state office if there's an updated one yet, and they do not have one as of just a few weeks ago. So,
Okay, all right. So we should just use that then.
yeah.
Perfect. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Kerri, I was just curious if these Wednesday meetings, if they have a different topic or a different flavor to each of them, should we attend all, or I feel like I know enough for the letter of intent at this point, but if there's something new that will come out next week.
Yeah, next week we'll just keep moving forward and kind of get more in depth on things.
Okay.
I welcome you to email questions that you may have that we can, answer next week. I kind of started with the project ideas, what fit. We went to LOI, pre-application, kind of overview today. We can go into even more in depth on the pre-application if we need to next week. We just kind of wanted to let everybody get together. We had a few people say that after the ARC conference in Portsmouth that ARC was like intimidating and they weren't sure, where to go, what to do. So we're like, well, let's just open it up and let people be more confident with the program. And because we want to see, these dollars come to our area, especially we've got a lot more funds in ARC right now because of the IIJA bill. But once it goes away, our funding is going to shrink back down. So while we have it, we want to get it out there.
Absolutely. Well, appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll be here
Yeah.
next week too.
Okay, awesome. And I think after our 4-week session on ARC, we're going to move on to some other programs that OVRDC handles. We handle the Ohio Public Works Commission. We handle a regional transportation planning organization through ODOT. We have the Natural Resources, I'm going to say it wrong, Eli. Advisory Council?
Natural Resources Assistance Council, I think.
Assistance Council. So
Yes.
we have a lot of other programs, so we plan on continuing this and just moving on with our next program.
That's great. Thank you.
Does anybody have anything else? If you can't think of it at the moment, just shoot me an email. We're always here to help.
All right, Kerri, thank you for your time here today. We'll hope to be with you on the next call. I have to
Yeah,
leave.
sounds good.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Have a
Thanks.
great day, y'all.
Thank you.